Hey everyone, am I audible to you?
You can present your screen. Others are able to hear. So, Abhishek, Ramakoti, and Vinay, can you please confirm you are able to hear the other trainer? Can you please
Yes,
speak
yes.
out the trainer?
Yes.
Okay,
Thanks
thank you.
everyone.
So, please make sure you share your screen.
Yep.
Yeah, yes. Screen is being shared. You can.
Very
Okay, we can now see something called Camunda BPM day, date 16 Jan 2025
Yep.
on document. So, others, you
Very
should be
good.
able to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, please confirm if you are able to hear me and you are able to see my screen. Good morning, good evening, and afternoon. I'm not sure which time zone you guys are in. Sorry for being having this delay for 5 minutes, but yeah, there was a technical glitch.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah.
Very nice. So with that, I'll not take much of your time. What we'll do is, as we all know, the agenda of this training, I will quickly introduce myself to all of you, and then, as probably we have 3, 4 students, you can go with a round of introduction of yours, maybe your expectations with this training and your a brief experience in IT or whatever field you're working upon, and most likely, like if you have any BPM or Camunda experience, try to add that as well. So, yeah, to start with, my name is Deepak Sharma. I'm based in Stockholm, and currently, like I'm working as a BPM professional. A total 16 years of work experience working into IT. All my experience is into BPM products, mostly into Camunda, Flowable BPM, APN, and Oracle BPM, ProFlow, and Savior. So, yeah, I have worked into various tools related to BPM. And here, right, I will be like your trainer to have the learnings and skills to be shared what I'm having as a trainer related to the Camunda BPM, where the goal is not to only get you familiar with Camunda BPM, right, which is eventually a goal with this training, that you should be having good understanding and learning with the Camunda, but we will cover the basics and fundamentals of BPM and DMN, as well as a little bit of CMMN. You will get to know about all these terminologies, right? Later, if you are not familiar with that. However, these will be the fundamentals and core notations, which will enable you to work into various other BPM and products as well, if not Camunda, right, in the future. So, along with that, we will learn about Camunda 7 and Camunda 8. I hope everybody is aware about the like topic of contents or TUC. You might would have received it. I will go through in the detail about the topic of content, like a little bit later. But before that, it will be nice if you guys can also introduce yourself. And yeah, as mentioned in the beginning, right? Start with your name, experience, and relevant experience in the BPM, and then yeah, your expectations. And yes, you can start in any order. There is maybe alphabetical or whomsoever want to start first. Hello. Sandeep, if you are speaking, I'm not able to hear you well.
Hello, can you hear
Others,
me?
please, yeah, now I can hear you well.
Yes. Yeah, this is Sandeep. I have close to 16 year of experience. I had worked on a couple of BPM solutions before, and also had some experience, not a lot, some experience of Camunda. So what I was looking for is Camunda 8, uh, because that is something which will be getting used in my project too. Um, So yeah, so that's overall, what I was looking for. I mean, I do not have much experience on Camunda 7, but for other BPM product like Informatica, um, and so there we used BPM solution or Oracle SOA before, um, for orchestrating, but that's a long back, not in recent past.
Awesome to have you here, Sandeep. Your expertise or your previous learning into BPM, right? And at least in Camunda 7 a little bit will be really helpful for you to expedite the Camunda 8 learning, right? So yeah, thank you for your introduction and welcome on board. Who is
Yeah,
next?
hi, this is Ramakoti. Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, very well. Loud and clear.
Yeah, yeah, I have total 8 years of experience of IT, and I have a couple of experience with Pega BPM, and also Camunda. I have almost 2 years there too, but I want Camunda 8 because Camunda 8 will be used in my project. Like they're asking for GB client and also they're having some kind of microservices. Like I want some doubt. Like, is there any way to explain that microservice in this project? Like only this Camunda related things are the you are explaining microservices like Java coding also. See, Camunda like more Java code involved. Like actually that kind of how that.
Great. So good, Rama, that you have asked this question as well, and thank you for your introduction as well. To give an answer on your question is like if you are looking for some Java development as well as looking for some microservices as well as the REST API integration in
Yes,
Camunda
yes, yes.
8, then yes, that will be part of our hands-on exercises. I will be developing uh, few APIs, okay, which will have an integration, and we will call them using our BPM and workflow. And yeah, that will is something which is already part of our exercises. And to be honest, when you have those learnings or trainings, right, to be part of, it is essential to have some theoretical knowledge and basic knowledge about the concepts. But what I believe, strongly believe, is the more hands-on we do, the more we practice, and that is what the agenda of this training as well. Uh, like initially, in like a week of time, just to get everyone on the same page, because a lot of students come from the different background, where somebody already have a BPM and knowledge, somebody is already having a Camunda knowledge, but maybe few don't have a Java knowledge. Some people have a Java knowledge but not BPM knowledge. Then to make everyone on a same page, initial sessions will be more about the fundamentals, which is definitely about the theoretical concepts, but we will still use some hands-on exercises as well by doing the installation and setup as well. And after that, mostly in all the sessions, we will be doing hands-on exercises, wherein we will be having this exercise as well to create backend service and integrate with Camunda workflow. Am I able to answer your question?
Yeah,
Little
yes.
bit.
Because why I am asking is, see, you in current project we are more struggling on that. See this without Spring Boot or without this microservices Java, there is
Mm-hmm.
no question of Camunda, like because without this Spring Boot Java knowledge, we cannot proceed much on this Camunda. Like that's why is it required to outside we need to learn Spring and microservices, or this thing you can cover in this topic. Like I'm asking
Yeah. So if
exactly.
you see my screen now, right now, so these are like the projects and exercises, right? You will be doing, which is a Spring Boot application, right? Having the dependencies of Camunda. One is for the Camunda 7, and other one is like I'll be having with the Clouder or the ZB workers, right? Which is for the Camunda 8. So we will be
Yes.
creating the Camunda application and Spring Boot applications, right? For Camunda 7 as well as for the Camunda 8 as well. Because when we learn deep into Camunda 8 concepts, I will touch base the topics around Camunda 7, but then we'll switch to Camunda 8, considering uh, Camunda 8 is something which is picking up now, and more students are willing
Yeah,
to learn Camunda.
nowadays, see, more companies are asking Camunda 8 only. No one
Absolutely.
asking Camunda 7. Yes.
Yeah, so this is like again a Spring Boot service which is having the Camunda 8 dependencies. But so I think you might have got the answer. But to be very honest and realistic, right? It is like
Mm.
in training there will be a lot of topics will be there, right? On different levels. We will try
Yeah.
to cover most of them. We will also touch base like doing the hands-on exercises as well, but in the end, right, it is something you guys also should be doing the exercises, right? Have the questions, throw out the questions, speak out louder. Okay, there is no point of trying, right? You guys are investing your time and money to have this training,
Yeah.
but in the end, right, if you don't ask questions, I will also not feel motivated because I have delivered quite a lot trainings. But if people are like collaborative, they are attentive, and they do the exercise and ask questions, right, it also feels me motivated, and that is something which also going to help you in the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
is next?
Thank you, Deepak.
Hi, this is Kranti. I don't have any IT experience. I'm working as a like a gig worker. I want to switch to the IT, and I don't have any knowledge on the Java as well. Is there any prerequisites for the for this Java learning this course, or how we
Okay,
can proceed?
Kranti, thanks for being so transparent and giving your introduction on that part. Considering, I'll be very honest with my answer, okay,
Okay.
without having much polished. Shane. The thing is, because this is a quite a common question which I usually get in all my trainings, okay. So usually Camunda or any BPM tool, right, is also known as low code BPM tool, right? What is the mean by low code, which means you don't have to code much. Without coding, you have to get understanding of a product or a terminology or the notation, because most of the things are like drag and drop once you are familiar with the product, and then doing some configuration changes, right, here and there. Then what else? Once you are familiar with that, right, it depends upon what type of project, what type of company, what type of expectation is there as a resource. Depending upon, like, let's say you have been onboarded for any BPM project which is aligned with Camunda, then you are part of a team which do some enhancements, bug fixes, right? Maybe run management team, something like that. Most of the time, uh, you like 9 out of 10, you'll not be doing the code changes, Java change. However, in many cases, right, depending upon what is the role you have assigned, and again, what is your desire and aspiration to learn this tool, with the time, because these products are developed using Java application, there are many use cases where we also require to write some custom code, okay, which custom code means you have to write sometimes backend Java code, sometimes you have to also write some JavaScript, maybe a Groovy script, right? Something which is require a custom logic, right, to be developed.
Yeah.
Then definitely this is required. And in depending upon project to project, sometimes there is like 5% of those changes, and in couple of projects, right, it can be 50 to 60% as well. So it again depends. The second thing what I would like to add here is it's not difficult to learn Java as well, because you are not going to learn the entire Java here. Okay, what you want to learn is like concepts of Spring Boot, some annotations, how API works, and yeah, then depending upon your interest and learning skills, right, sky is the limit.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Abhishek. I have 9 years of experience in IT, and I've worked around technologies like Java and SQL. And from this session, like from this training of Camunda, my expectation is to enter into the world of BPM. Like I just want to start knowing the BPM tools. Like from the research, I've got to know that these BPM tools are in demand. So I think Camunda is the one which is being used by a lot of companies, and therefore I wanted to learn it.
Very good, Abhishek. Considering you're coming from a Java background already, so you have a good and already have like work for 9 years, right? So
Yeah.
which means you have a good technical understanding. So the project, right, sometimes which requires a little bit coding or some custom changes as well. You could be an asset if you for a team. Sometimes if you like learn Camunda as well. And to be
Yeah.
honest, again with most of the uh, audience here, when you learn this Camunda BPM, right, definitely there is a huge demand of Camunda BPM along with other BPM tools like Appian, Paga, Mendix, OutSystem, and Flowable. But the thing is, once you learn Camunda BPM, right, you will be almost learning three other BPM tools as well, which is almost similar to Camunda in a way. I can say similar means 70 to 90%, because they have been forked from the same BPM family. So the base code is same, but eventually with the timeline, right, different companies have been formed by the management and the key stakeholders in the company. And these tools are like apart from Camunda, right, it's Flowable BPM, and you might have also heard about Alfresco Activity and a GBPM. So yeah, with this knowledge, right, almost you will be having a good knowledge and understanding about these products as well at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Thank you.
as I said
Yeah.
in the beginning, we will be also starting up with the fundamentals and core principles of BPMN, DMN, and CMMN, right? I will let you know about these terminologies who are not familiar with that, so that you have a core principles around that, and it will be easier for you to also learn different other products as well.
Okay.
Welcome on board,
Um,
Abhishek.
Thank you. Yeah. I had a question on the certification part, but like we can discuss it later if that is covered in the curriculum.
I think it's an introductory, what you can say, session as well, and I'm more open for any sort of questions and queries you have. Okay, and these are like common questions, so please go ahead,
Okay.
and I'll be happy to
Like,
answer.
what I wanted to know was, is there any like in Pega we know we have CSA, CSSA, and those kind of certifications available. Is there a similar path available in Camunda as well? That after completing the training, we can try to attempt that certification and get certified.
Okay, so to answer your question, yes, we also have certifications uh, available in Camunda, right? But there is a difference of the certifications in Paga and certifications in Camunda, because when you work in Paga related projects, right, it is mandatory to have a certification like in PAGA or Appian to clear a level of certification, and then you'll be part of the team, right? However, in Camunda, it's good to have, but not mandatory. But there are certifications which you can go once you have the knowledge and skills to attempt those certifications.
Okay, and like I tried to explore that option, but it says customers only. So as an individual, if our company has no tie-up with Camunda, or then in that case, as an individual, can we attempt the certification?
Okay, so then there are two ways. First is like they have some learning plans, and you have to complete those courses online, and you can
Yeah.
get kind of an accreditation from the Camunda. And second thing is they will provide the certification once you are either a partner for the Camunda, like your company, or second is you should have taken a training program from Camunda, or you are applied for a Camunda champion. So they also have a group of people who participate for the community, and they becomes Camunda champion, and then you can go ahead for the certification with the free of cost. Otherwise, you have to take the training from the company, which is quite expensive. I see.
Okay, so like these are the
However,
only two options to have certifications.
yeah. However, the other options, right? They, like as I mentioned, right, for Camunda 7 and Camunda 8 for business analyst, developer, and admin role, they have different courses. You have to just go through with those courses and then clear the questionnaire what they have, and then you get those certificates as well from Camunda for those particular topics.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, Ramoji Reddy, he has shared his uh, introduction in the chat. I'm not sure whether Ramoji, you have mic issues, but yeah, thanks for sharing this on chat. Anybody else who has left? Uh, I think Monica, Raghu, Kranti has already introduced himself. Not sure if you guys are speaking, but not able to hear you, or you need to unmute yourself. Monica and Vinay.
Yeah, hi sir. You are able to hear me, right?
Yes, loud and clear now.
So yeah, I have 7 years of experience in IT, and I am certified PEGA, CSA, and CSSA. I have 3 years of experience. I worked at on-site location for one of the client, and yeah, I came to know there is a lot of growth for Camunda, okay, in a coming year. So I want to upskill myself for this as well. So trying to do training for this. Coming moving forward, I have done Pega course from Harsha Training only, before 4 years ago.
Awesome. Good to uh, know about this, Vinay, like how you have taken the training and how you have like went ahead in your work profile with Pega, which is anyway one of the most popular BPM tool, and you have already certified on that, working from last 3 years, and now still you are looking to upskill yourself. Great to have you here on board.
Thank you.
Yes, Monica, can you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi everyone. I've been working as Pega developer I think since 7 years, and I have seen a lot of applications moving from Pega to Camunda these days. So I want to upskill in Camunda, and also I'm mainly looking between the integration how Camunda interacts with Java as empty. Yeah.
Okay, very nice. So I think with that, everybody has already introduced yourself. So, and pardon me if I have like forgotten or left anybody here, but I believe we have covered everyone. Now, what I'll do is as we already have an introduction, I'll go through with a few details here, like what we will be learning and what things we will be doing in upcoming days and what you can expect from this training. So this is more than like is kind of a snippet, or you can say the topic of contents. We will be having it for this program, which is related to Camunda 7, but again will be used for most of the topics are also related to Camunda 8 as well. Okay, so more and less this is what we are going to cover. Uh, Additionally, why I'm going through with that is like if you see like few people haven't even worked into BPM, few people have not worked into Camunda BPM, few have not even worked into Camunda 8, but still if you feel like there are some topics which is like not listed here, right, and you want to learn them, feel free to like uh, ping me here. Okay, we can add them as well and try to accommodate if that is not going to take much of the time. However, if it is like a lengthy topic, right, we also have some timelines, then we can also try to adjust from this content. So the idea here is this is not the fixation that we will be covering only these things, but this is something I have created a TOC based on my experience, which are common topics, considering from basic to intermediate and then expert level. Okay, and I'm open and flexible to make any modifications here. Right.
Yeah. Like,
To start with, yeah, Abhishek, are you?
sorry, like if everybody agrees and if time allows, like can we please have the migration part, at least the basics, like migrating any application from any X technology into Camunda.
Okay. Okay. So in that case, what we can do is we can take an example of migrating an application from Camunda 7 to Camunda 8,
Yeah,
or maybe from, if you have any other example, right, from any other application,
maybe
maybe
from Pega to Camunda if yeah. But I would be like okay if like anybody wants to opine as well, any other attendee. Like my
yeah,
vote is for
and
Pega to Camunda. If anybody else has a suggestion, then we can go ahead with that as well.
because then, right, it won't be a justice with the only this Camunda. And the one thing, right, I would like to also point here is we are here for the training and for the learning, right? It is not a
Yeah,
consulting setup. So
yeah,
don't expect. Like you can expect, but I just want to set the expectations as well. Like it is not a consulting part where we are going to solve the real time problems here. Okay, this
yeah,
training is to make you understand, familiar, and uh, get your wheels like turning with the Camunda BPM. Okay, everything which is related around this space, right? You will be knowing. Maybe it is related to the low code. Maybe it is related to the forms. Maybe it is related to the Java, Spring Boot. integration connectors, what are the different like portals we will be having, how we can do the setup, installation, configuration, then modeling exercises and all, right? So that is pretty much will cover the topic. But then after this, like if you wanted to go into deep and beyond, then there is like no limit into that, right? But we have to also set our expectation clearly that this is not a consulting like training, it is a basic understanding training. Now to start with, we will be having the topic for understanding of the BPM. Okay, so not sure if everybody is aware about the BPM. BPM is a abbreviation for business process management, right? So this is the notation which is common for all the BPM tools, right? So there are like standard notations and elements which are governed by the BPMN language, and they are common across. Mhm. Just a minute. Right. So what I was saying is, most of the BPM tools, right, whether it's Pega, Appian, Flowable, Camunda, Oracle BPM, or IBM BPM, they are known as BPM products or tools because they follow the standards and notations governed by the object management group, which is the core and which is the governing organization to maintain the standards of BPM. And on top of that, right, every BPM tool differs a little bit or up to an extent like a much, if you compare two products with each other. Why and how? Because on top of that, they have also done some customizations in terms of the UI, how you will use it, how you will deploy them, and what are the additional features it will bring. So assume like Pega is like having a suite which has lot many things apart from the BPM, right? It has a lot of connectors. At the same time, if you look into APN, right, it has a different way of developing the applications like vertical scaling from top to bottom approach. Usually, most of the time, you have some database objects ready, and then on top of that, you try to create your backend layer of doing the modeling and then UI exposure. Then, yeah, Oracle BPM has some maybe by default connectors, right? Then Camunda has other features, right? So they differ a lot between each other. But on top of that, what is common is like they all are BPM tools and they follow some standards and notation which is common across all the BPM tools. So we are going to understand what are these standards and notations, right? A little overview about the basics and disciplines, who governs that notations and all. A bit of like a theoretical part, but uh, very important to have a understanding on any BPM tool. So after that, what next? We will be learning about the architecture of Camunda. So whenever you learn any product, right, you must understand the core architecture of that product. Architecture means what are the different components it requires. Okay, what are the different UIs or the key components product platform provides, what are the different engines, what is their role, and like we will be covering the architecture for Camunda 7 as well as for the Camunda 8, just to have an overview. And then you will also understand like when we or Camunda move from Camunda 7 to Camunda 8, what are the different uh, major differences they have in the architecture. What are the things which is missing in Camunda 8 and what are the things which have been added into Camunda 8? Why? a few things, or why Camunda 8 is getting more popular. But at the same time, when it is getting popular, what are few restrictions as well with that, like the case management modeling and notation, right? It is not supported with Camunda 8 going forward. Yeah, once we are done with that architecture, at least we have a basic understanding about BPM, and then basic understanding about the key components on Camunda, right? Tools. We do a quick installation and setup. So there is a free trial version is available. Okay. For the quick learning of Camunda 7 or Camunda 8, we will try to focus on Camunda 8. So it's like you just need a very basic details, your email ID. And once you have that, right, you can do the installation as it's a cloud based. So with that, at least what we'll do is we will try to understand all the different UIs and the components which is there, which we have already learned in the architecture. What is the look and feel for that? How we can go from one screen to another when we create a process, right, in a low code format. What screen is required? Okay, which portal is required? And obviously, when we develop low code BPM and projects, right, we can also do a round of testing how it behaves, right? So how we can deploy them, and if it is deployed, right, how end users will be able to see those projects working in a real case. And also as an admin user, right, sometimes if we do need to do see how many processes have been installed, uh, what is the current state, which is pending, which is completed. If you wanted to do some admin activities such as migrating a particular instance from one version to another version, how we can do that. So what are the portals for that? That we will see. But apart from that, we will also do the installation and the configuration details, how we can do this as a microservice installation. So if we wanted to deploy these applications, right, in a Docker or in a microservice manner, right, what are the ways? Okay, different ways, and how we can do that. So we will also create one microservice with the required dependencies, and create jars or maybe containerized way. If you wanted to use Docker, then how it is possible. So that is about the installation and configuration. Then comes the core part of process modeling, which is I think heart and soul. Most of the BPM developers are have to work on that part. So there, right, we will start doing the modeling or the development. Modeling is nothing but how you develop your processes or applications with the low code. So in low code here is Camunda, right? How you can develop your application. So in process modeling, right, we will go ahead and like I think we will try to learn about these things, like what are the activities like they have a different shapes, mostly like you can see as a rectangle, right, curve with the corners. So what is activity? What are different type of activities are there? What is their role when we develop an low code application? What are events that we will learn? So events are like mostly they have a circular shape, but within circle, right, sometimes they have a single circle, sometimes they have a double circle. Within the circle they have different images, and sometimes they are dark, sometimes they are like light color. So different types of events. When we will use those events, right, what is the purpose of events, right? We will have a mm, round of use cases around them. And after that, the third pillar of designing or developing any BPM and application is gateways. Gateways are kind of like logic, or you can say when you wanted to merge your flow, right, into different directions, then we use gateways. So what are the different type of gateways? They are like of a diamond shape, but again within the diamond shape there are different images by which, right, their behavior and their implementation logic is different. And all these things, right, activities, events, gateways, right, what we will learn, they are, as I mentioned, right, follows some standards and notation, which means if you work in Camunda today or you work in Paga tomorrow or Appian some other day, that learning will not go away. Okay, that will remain the same. After that, yeah, there are a few other like concepts as well about data, artifacts, and participants, which is like swim lanes and pools that we will touch base. So mostly that is something which we will cover in the process modeling. And when we are covering this process modeling part, right, as we have already learned about Camunda architecture and we have already done the installation and configuration, with the every activity, I must say, and the gateways later on, we will also try to create one small process with the time. Let's say if you are using user task activity or service task activity or email task activity, we will be uh, developing some processes, and then we'll try to deploy them and see how it behaves, what it do and not. What it helps is, with the time when we start learning about these topics, we are also trying to develop the models, right? You, if you develop some applications, right, it will give you an hands-on exercise as well, and with the time you also get familiar with the tool, at least how to design, how to deploy, how to test, how to go to uh, end user portal and see how your application is working, right? Maybe day one it will be too much, but with the time, if you start doing that, you will get very much familiar, at least with basic things. After that, we will be having process execution. That is like whatever models, whatever development you have done, right, how uh, in the real time, right, the Camunda engine will execute them, how you can debug them when you deploy them, right, where you can monitor and control those executions. What is Camunda cockpit or Camunda operate, you might have heard about. So cockpit is in Camunda 7, but same tool, right, to view those transaction and execution. In Camunda 8, we call it as Camunda operate. So we'll have a deep dive into these UIs, okay, in order to understand the process execution. Again, then with the process modeling, it is similar to the Camunda modeler. So modeler is nothing but we have uh, one of the UI or the portal which is required to do the modeling. So it not only help us to create the processes and applications. So application is nothing but it can be a group of multiple files as well. Like when you write any Java program as well, right? There can be multiple classes, right? And resource files as well, property files as well. So it's a project, right? So application is again is one of the project. Within that, it can have a multiple files like a process file, a decision management file, a number of forms, and many other things as well, which we'll see with the time. So how we can create those applications, and from modeler also you can also deploy and debug uh, your applications as well, right? Any questions so far? Are we as it's first session, are we moving too quick? Something which is like whatever things I have mentioned so far regarding the topics, it's just an overview, but are you getting like uh, trying to follow me what I'm saying, or it's like too much?
Hi, any real-time projects or interview sessions included in this session?
Interview sessions definitely as part of the Harsha training, right? Whenever we complete the the training program, we also support in the interview as well as in resume building as well.
Okay, any real-time projects or
Real-time projects,
any?
like we will be covering some hands-on cases, right? Which means like from the banking or from the finance background or maybe from the healthcare background, we'll try to have the use case, which is like when we start from the beginning, right, and we go to the end, we will be having those building blocks which covers one of the banking or financial or maybe healthcare related application.
Okay.
Yeah, what is the course duration, Deepak? Like how many days course duration?
So it's approx 40 hours. So usually it depends upon like usually the plan is to have 1 hour training daily, which means it will go until like 40 days, which means like 7 weeks or so. But then depending upon uh, different batches I have gone through, right, we also have done a little bit adjustment. Sometimes like we can have an alternate trainings as well, sometimes 1 hour and few times 2 hours as well. But yeah, you will have approx 40 hours of training, and accordingly we have this 5 to 6 weeks.
Okay, I have one question is early, but I am asking like Azure DevOps deployment. You can explain like that, or directive can do that kind of directive deploy that kind of, because nowadays companies are asking like Azure DevOps through that we need to do that kind of deployment that because you are also part of that or is not part of the deployment process in this.
Yeah, like again, this is like not about learning after you learn, right? This is more about from the platform team. And so this is one of the advanced level of topic, like you can do in Azure, you can do in Google Cloud, you can do in Amazon Cloud, depending upon which cloud your company is using in order to do the deployment. But it is again part of your CI/CD pipeline. Okay, like you create your Spring Boot classes and jars, right? You check in your code and then you build your pipeline, right, in order to deploy them. But along with that, when you do it as a cloud or containerized way, you
Yes, yes.
yeah, you also have to add your Kubernetes settings as well on top of that. So there is a profiling, and then yeah, so it's an advanced topic again, okay, which is not part of this training.
That means the deployment is here tool. It's modular itself only. We are explaining like.
That's right.
Okay. Because then they all are doing that CI/CD pipeline, that PR request. They are doing that kind of. We want that's okay.
So like the in the project what you are working, you are also responsible for doing the deployment. Is that correct understanding I have?
No, that we need to do kind of until PR, PR rising like we need to rise, checking the code, doing that, and branching, matching, and all things, and we need to write PR full request until that this process. Because we did
How?
not get a chance, but the process is like that. But I didn't get a chance to work on that. But now I go into another project that they are following this process, but exactly we don't know exactly how the process is. That's why.
Yeah, so if it is about the check-in and check-out, then it is not different anyway. So like as I mentioned, right, when you create your Spring Boot application, which has the code, again, it's you will have to check in into your version control, like GitHub or
Yeah.
whatever code you are using. You have to check in the same way, and then depending upon how you are managing your code, yeah, how many you are managing your branches, like there is a main branch and then feature branch, somebody is working on different features, then you merge your code as well, right, accordingly. So it's
Yes.
absolutely the same, nothing different. But what other thing what we have asked is like how to deploy in a Azure based container. Then for that,
Yes.
right, you just need to like your application YAML, right? What you create in your Spring Boot application,
Yes, yes,
that would
yes,
change
yes.
a little bit. Like you have to also include your key vault configuration, then dependency. Again, there is like no limit for that. It is, as I mentioned, right? It will be an advanced topic, and it's not related to Camunda modeling and related thing. This is the same process you do for any other application as well, whether Camunda or Java. So that's why it's not part of this training, but I can give you an overview about that. So as I mentioned here, right, the installation configuration, we will do the installation of the enterprise trial version. We'll do the installation configuration from Spring Boot. We'll do a deployment, and then we'll write some custom Java code as well. Whatever Java code we will write, we'll try to integrate in our BPM and models by using the service task. We'll have advanced features to learn here is like multitask. What is a multitask? What is sub process? What is call activity? How you can call a process within a process? How you can define the scope? What is the different types of variables? How you can split one task into multiple tasks, which is again a multitask feature. What are the connectors? How you can use those connectors? What is decision table? Or we call it as a DMN for writing the business rules. How you can call the business rules from a process, right? This is more about a BPM and training, and then to an extent how Camunda BPM, right, integrate with the Java application or Spring Boot application, how we can uh, install and set up a Camunda 7 or Camunda 8 in a Spring Boot application, how we can start application in a containerized manner, like in a Docker, okay, in a Kubernetes environment. What are the calls, different calls? But again, specific to a project, how you want to create the pipelines and other things, right? Then it's definitely CI/CD or what I can say DevOps related topic, which is not part of this training.
Deepak, to test or maybe try hands-on in our local system, are there any
Mhm.
specific system requirements that we need to take care of?
I think when we test our models, right, then
Mhm.
nothing much, okay. Uh, but when we install the Spring Boot, right, I will share the prerequisite softwares which is required in your local, but they are very basic, like the Java version, what you need, okay. Java has to be installed, and what is the minimum version. Again,
Okay.
then Maven has to be installed, right? We will be creating our Spring Boot application. And then if you have any IDE, right, available, which is like IntelliJ or some other tool, usually I use IntelliJ most of the time. So any IDE tool, which is there. So yeah, pretty much these are the things. If you have any database, we can also connect with the database, right, of your choice. But if not, we can use in-memory H2 database as well to start up our application.
Okay.
Yeah, nowadays
Right.
companies are using IntelliJ, in all IDE like or any other IDE you are using IntelliJ only, no, mostly.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm using IntelliJ for most of my development.
Mm.
I'm much familiar. Prior to that, I was using Eclipse. But yeah, different developers use different other tools, and it's up to them. But that doesn't affect your programming and the how Java or Spring Boot will work, right?
Yeah, and one other question, like it supports different languages also, Camunda, like only
Camunda 8,
Java. Yeah, Camunda
Camunda 8,
8,
yeah, because it works on the ZB worker, so which supports different other languages as well.
like .NET, Python.
Yes. Okay. With that, yeah, after that modeler, right, we'll be having decision management. So decision management is nothing but another notation similar to BPMN. We have a DMN called a decision model and notation. It is governed, or it is here to write the business rules to be written. So business rules are nothing but the when you have complex conditions, right? Or like we'll go into the detail, but rules are like something based on some condition. You have some outcome, right? So condition can be complex as well. So if you have to design such scenarios, right, then DMN is very powerful, which will help you to design or write such rules in a low code manner, which is easily written and understandable as well. Okay, and these DMN tables can be called within BPMN processes as well, which we will go through with the theory, and then we'll have 3 4 different examples, because in DMN we have different type of what you can say algorithms and logic. So we also called it like policies, single hit policy and multiple hit policies. So we'll go through with the detail of them, and we'll try to cover one example of each policy in DMN. After that, case management. So I'll not go into the detail of case management, considering case management is a part of Camunda 7. However, it is discontinued with the Camunda 8, as GB worker is not supporting this case management. But this is very powerful when we wanted to design dynamic or event-based processes, right? To give a brief, BPMN counterparts CMMN or case management, and vice versa. Whatever you design or develop in BPMN, you can also develop in CMMN, and vice versa. However, there are some advantages when you design your complex processes with the case management, right? That we will cover here, and what are the basic terminologies CMMN will support. After that, as I mentioned, we'll go for APIs and integrations with the Camunda, REST APIs and service task. So how REST APIs, right, can be called different get or post or put kind of APIs. So we'll have one or two examples here. And after APIs, we will also have integration with the delegates or service task as well. After that, we'll go with the advanced features like what is timers, how we can do the error handling, what is correlation, what is marker, what are listeners, what is multi-instance, right? All these things. And different patterns for the error handling and troubleshooting, how we can do the retry, what are the configurations we should do, how to handle the business exceptions and technical exceptions, that we will see. And yeah, what are the different database, how we do the monitoring, and of course discuss some practical workflows. So this is in nutshell is about what we are going to cover as part of the topics in detail. And for that, we'll be having around, as I mentioned, right, 40 days of time approx. So it is enough to cover these topics as well. Before we close, I will hold on for 2 minutes, another 2 minutes, as we started late as well. So before we close today, if you guys have any questions or queries, yeah, please go ahead. Okay, I'll take it as no. Maybe at the moment you don't have questions, or the questions what you have already asked, or maybe whatever I have explained is like not understood at all. Can be any reason, but yeah, we will have another opportunity with the demo class tomorrow, where we can join again and see how we can explore the next layer of questions and the topics we'll have. I see Pooja and Namdev, you have joined maybe a little bit late, but that's okay. If you are joining again tomorrow, you guys can introduce yourself, and then yeah, we can go ahead.
Yeah,
So
actually, I just wanted to join on the time, but I had a meeting on that time, and that's the reason I joined late. So actually, I don't have much any of the idea about this Camunda. That's the reason I didn't have any questions right now. So I asked for this recording for Camunda, whatever you just give today. So I'll just go
Okay.
through that and I will join tomorrow's also session.
No worries, Namdev. So that's why we have this training also. This is intended for the students like you who doesn't have any experience as well. So with this training, right, you will have this skill set uh, been developed over the period of time or towards the closure of this training as well. We haven't discussed much in detail about the Kamunda. It's like about the introductory session of what topics we are going to cover, what are the expectations we should have from this training and all. So yeah, without like delaying further, with the respect of time as well. Not sure it could be late if you are in IST time zone as well. Uh, Goodbye for today, and we'll connect again tomorrow. See you again.
Yeah, daily you following this time only 9:30 to 1:30.
Yes, and for more details, like if there is any change or is there any request, right, to have a change in the timing, we can have a discussion with the coordinator, and we can agree on some common time. But until then, this is the time we will be following.
Yeah.